Welcome to the video I've entitled, A Much Too Quick Overview of the Theory of Evolution, structured around the history of the concept of evolution itself and the lives and thoughts of 7 scientists: Aristotle, Lamarck, Darwin, Mendel, Fisher, Haldane, and Wright. This video was written and produced and is presented by me, Andrew Chapman. The theory of evolution is a fundamental concept in biology that explains how organisms change over time. It is based on the idea that all living organisms share a common ancestry and that species evolve through a process of natural selection. The theory has a long and complex history involving contributions from many scientists and researchers over several centuries. The first scientific attempts to explain the diversity of life on Earth can be traced back to the ancient Greeks. Aristotle, for example, classified living organisms based on their structural similarities, while Empedocles proposed the idea of natural selection. However, it wasn't until the 19th century that the theory of evolution gained scientific traction. In the early 1800s, French biologist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck proposed that species evolved through a process of inheritance of acquired characteristics, in which an organism's environment caused it to develop new traits that were passed on to its offspring. While this theory is now known to be incorrect, Lamarck's work contributed to the development of evolutionary thinking. It was British naturalist Charles Darwin, however, who is credited with formulating the modern theory of evolution. In 1859, Darwin published his book, On the Origin of Species, in which he argued that species evolve through a process of natural selection in which individuals with beneficial traits are more likely to survive and reproduce, passing on those traits to their offspring. Darwin's theory was supported by evidence he had gathered during his travels on the HMS Beagle, including observations of variations in the beaks of finches on the Galapagos Islands. Darwin's theory of evolution was further developed by his contemporary, Gregor Mendel, who studied the principles of inheritance in pea plants. Mendel's work, published in 1865, showed that traits are inherited in predictable patterns, providing a mechanism for natural selection to act upon. In the early 20th century, scientists such as Roland Fisher, J.B.S. Haldane, and Sewell Wright synthesized Darwin's ideas with Mendel's principles of inheritance to create the modern synthesis of evolutionary theory. This theory explained how genetic variation arises, how it is passed on to offspring, and how it can be acted upon by natural selection. Today, the theory of evolution is supported by a vast amount of evidence from fields such as genetics, paleontology, and biogeography. It is widely accepted as the best scientific explanation for the diversity of life on Earth. While there are still many questions to be answered about the mechanisms of evolution, the theory continues to evolve and adapt as new evidence and discoveries emerge. Thanks for watching the video I entitled A Much Too Quick Overview of the Theory of Evolution, structured around the history of the concept of evolution itself and the lives and thoughts of 7 scientists: Aristotle, Lamarck, Darwin, Mendel, Fisher, Haldane, and Wright. This video was written, produced, and presented by me, Andrew Chapman.